We're only gonna know if night shift is for you until you give it a try. Night shift. Let's talk all things night shift. Night shift was pretty difficult for me. Hello everyone, my name is Kristen and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am a newborn registered nurse. I work in the newborn nursery on the labor and delivery unit. I started this job on night shift. I worked 8 months on nights and it was definitely a struggle, but I did get through it. I get questions all the time about tips and tricks on how to get through night shift. What was your routine like? I will do a whole separate night shift routine video, but in this video I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to survive nights. So if you are interested, just go ahead and keep watching. You couldn't see through. Night shift was pretty challenging for me, but just because it was difficult for me does not mean it's going to be hard for you. There are lots of new grad nurses and nurses in general that absolutely love working nights, and there are some great benefits to night shift, and I would agree. I feel like nights was a great environment for me to learn everything I needed to learn as a new grad, and then some. I remember I asked so many of the L&D nurses if they could teach me how to do things. I wanted to continue learning. It was a great environment to learn, ask questions. Administrators were not there at night, so I felt like I had a little bit more freedom to pull out a book whenever it was slower. I could listen to music. I could watch a movie. I had a lot more free time to just kind of unwind and do me. I also feel like I made a lot more connections on nights because I had so many new grad nurses that I could talk to, I could confide in, and a lot of my L&D friends that I still have work nights. And of course, you also do get paid more. At my hospital, I believe I got paid almost $5 more an hour. If you work nights and weekends, you get paid a little bit more as well. So it was very hard for me at the beginning to want to switch because I took a pay cut going to day shift, and it sucks because I do more work on days and I make less money than doing less work on nights. But I do think as a new grad nurse, or if you're just starting out in that specialty, nights is a great place to be because you can ask your questions, get the help you need. It's a very team environment, especially when you're trying to keep each other up. Whereas on day shift, everybody is so busy kind of doing their own thing. It's more difficult for me to get help when I need it. So I do think there is a benefit to night shift. I could have survived through it a little bit longer. I would have, just because the pay was so much better. But one of the cons of night shift is you are going against your circadian rhythm and you are basically trying to fight your body on when you should be awake versus when you're sleeping. Because nights was so difficult for me to get acclimated to, I actually tried a lot of things to try my best to get through a night shift and be able to have a healthy routine outside of work. So I felt like I was a little bit more normal versus trying to always fight myself on when I needed to go to sleep, when I needed to eat, when I needed to just basically function as a human being. So I hope that you can take some of these tips and tricks that really helped me, especially a person who was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition during night shift, because nights is just not healthy for our bodies. So hopefully these tips and tricks can help you, make you feel better, and of course, help you get into a routine that's going to be the best for you. So the first tip that I have for you, and honestly, this is just the most important that I wish I would have listened to myself on this, is know your body and know your limits. I felt like when I was working nights, I did not listen to myself. I would try my best to sleep right when I got home, but sometimes I wasn't tired right when I got home, and I would try to force myself, and in that case, I would get no sleep because I was trying so hard to sleep. It just was not working. There would be days where I was just so exhausted, and you know what? I would go hang out with my friends. You know, in those instances, I just needed to tell myself no, and I needed to listen to my body, and I needed to slow down, get some rest, and just take it slow. I felt like I was trying to keep up with a life that just was not my life in this current moment of time whenever I was working night shift. I was trying my best to say yes to everybody, hang out with my friends, do this, do that, and because of that, I wasn't sleeping, I didn't have the best nutrition, I just wasn't prioritizing myself, and I feel like you need to know your limits, you need to know when to say no, you need to learn when to, get the rest when your body needs it, and because of that, I feel like I did put myself in a place where I just was not feeling well almost 24/7. I did feel like a zombie, so I definitely feel like if you're listening to yourself, listening to your body, getting sleep when you need to, taking time off when you need to, you will continue to prioritize yourself, and then of course you will feel a lot better working these night shifts. stick to a good routine, okay? Whether or not that's you wanting to stick to solely a night shift routine or flipping back and forth between a day and night routine. For all you night owls out there, I'm sure the night shift only routine would be better for you just because you're used to already being up late and then of course sleeping in. This specific routine did not work well for me at all because I just felt like I was the only person awake while everybody else was sleeping. I tried my best to go like grocery shopping at night, but there was no place open 24 hours. So really the only thing I was able to do was go to the gym at like 3 in the morning. On my days off, I wasn't productive at all. But for those of you that have a night owl routine that works best for you, I feel like this might be a really good schedule for you to stick to. Now, if you're like me and you have to flip back and forth, I benefited most from this schedule. So basically the way that this would work is I would go to my night shift and then I would come home, I would take a little nap, and then I would wake up about like 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and I would have the rest of my day. And by the time I came home, I'd be tired, and normally I would get to bed around like 10 or 11 p.m., and then I'd wake up the following day at a normal time, most likely around like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, because I always felt like I was trying to catch up on sleep too. So I did sleep a lot more than what I do now. I was able to see my friends and family a lot more by doing this, and I felt a little bit more productive on my days off. So this next tip, it does kind of go with make sure you have a good schedule or routine, but this one specifically is grouping your night shifts together. So what do I mean by that? There are night shift nurses that I work with that like to work their 3 night shifts back to back. What I like to do, just because it really helped me make sure that I was still trying to keep a good routine, I was able to have a good work-life balance, I like to do 2 night shifts with 2 to 3 days off in between. So for example, I would work 2 days, then the next 3 days I would have off, and then I would work 2 more days, and then I would have 2 days off. So it always flip-flopped whether or not I had 3 days off or 2 days off. I did not feel the best after working 3 12-hour night shifts. For me, I just felt like I was trying to catch up on sleep, so I felt like that was too much. And of course, doing the working one on and having one off, that was not working for me at all. A happy medium for me was working 2 shifts with 2 to 3 days off. So the next tip that I have for you is have a good bedtime routine. So whatever that might look like, whether you like to go take a shower before bed, you like to read a book, you like to watch a show before you go to sleep, you like to be on your social media right before bed, whatever it is that works for you. I recommend obviously putting your phone away an hour before you go to bed, but I know everybody has their own bedtime routine. Do whatever works best for you. When you have a good bedtime routine, it's a lot easier to go to sleep, even if it's bright and early in the morning. Once I had my own bedtime routine, I felt like it was a lot easier for me to unwind, get to bed, and then get a good 7 or 8 hours of sleep. This next tip that I have for you may or may not be for you, and that's using a sleep aid before bed. Now, for me, I like to drink chamomile tea. I definitely liked to have, like I said earlier, my bedtime routine, and I had time to unwind and just relax, drink my tea. Sometimes I would have to take melatonin if I felt like I was not getting sleepy enough. I would say try not to be reliant on this. You do want your body to try to adjust on its own, but I do know that melatonin can help. I specifically use the CVS brand. Melatonin has given me nightmares in the past, so I actually did have to try a few and figured out which one worked best for me. It was just something extra on the side that if I needed, I also used. Now, when I woke up for a night shift, I needed something to get me going because I was groggy all the time, and let me tell you, I definitely did lean on my caffeine. Now, for me, I like to try to drink more matcha and chai tea and things like that, but sometimes that didn't always work. I needed something a little bit stronger. So I started out drinking Celsius drinks. Celsius. Eventually, Celsius started giving me heart palpitations, so I had to stop drinking Celsius, but then I found Alani Nu. So I absolutely loved drinking Alani Nus. This really helped me. I don't drink them anymore because I definitely now have my own energy, especially when I go to work, but Alani Nus helped me throughout my night shift. I do suggest though, if you are going to be drinking some type of caffeine or energy drink or anything like that, to cut off drinking those drinks after midnight, 1 a.m. because you don't want to be wired up when you get home and then you're not able to unwind and go to bed after you've drinking all this caffeine. Something Something that's really helped me that I actually didn't really know about until I started working day shift is the Liquid IV Energy. The Liquid IVs are just powder that you put into your drink, and believe it or not, I've absolutely been loving the energy one. It's lemon ginger. It kind of reminds me of matcha. This is another suggestion that I have, and I know it's been working for me on days. I do have a discount code for my Liquid IVs. If you are interested, it will be in the description box down below. Make sure when you're going to work that you are taking nutritious meals with you or nutritious snacks, and you are drinking plenty of water. I'd actually like to wake up and I would not eat a breakfast meal. I would eat more of like a lunch meal, something that was a little bit lighter, like a sandwich or a salad, just so I did not trick my body into thinking that it was my morning. And then I would just snack throughout the night. So a lot of the things that I brought were like hummus. I would bring like tuna with me. I also like to make like a healthier buffalo chicken style of dip, things like that. And I would bring veggies, so broccoli, carrots, peppers, something to dip it in. And then of course, fruits were always my go-to on night shift as well. And before I went to bed, I would try to eat more of a breakfast style of meal, whether that was a smoothie, yogurt, or something along those lines. I didn't have huge meals when I was at work because I started out doing this and it just made me feel really bloated and just not feeling well. Food was not going through my digestive system very well. I was very constipated, so I definitely had to switch up my meals, and that's what I found worked best for me. Now, when you come home from a night shift, you're probably thinking, let me go work out. When I was working night shift, I realized that I had a harder time going to sleep whenever I did work out right before bed. So what I would do is I would actually work out once I woke up, because if not, I was gonna be up the whole day and I was not going to get sleep at all. Now, when I would come home from a night shift, I actually don't remember where I heard this. It had to have been a YouTube video because I did watch a lot of videos before I switched to nights. And that was when you're leaving and you're driving home, make sure you're wearing your sunglasses. It's really easy to forget, at least for me. I can drive without sunglasses even if the sun is beating down on me. I don't know why, but I can. And a lot of the times I would forget to wear my sunglasses. But if you put your sunglasses on whenever you leave and the sun starts coming up, or if the sun is in your eyes, it will at least still trick your mind that it's still a little bit darker outside. So it'll be easier for you to get home and get some sleep because your body is gonna be awake when the light is out. So that was just an easy way for me to try to trick my body into thinking it was still nighttime. If you're like me and you're having a hard time falling asleep during the day, one thing that I know helped, and I actually purchased these back when I was in nursing school, and that is blackout curtains. I am not a person to like to wear like the little sleep masks over my eyes, but I do know that my sister uses it, and I know lots of other people do use them and do find them necessary. So feel free, buy whatever works for you. But when you have an environment that's very dark, it's very easy to trick your body into thinking that it's nighttime, and it helps make you tired as well and stay asleep. Blackout curtains or an eye mask is always helpful. My next tip is also still all about sleep, and that is having white noise or some type of earplugs. Now, I know everyone's going to be different on this. I do not like things on my face at all, which is why the sleep mask did not work for me. So what I actually like to do is I liked to turn on my phone and have YouTube playing in the background, and I would listen to thunderstorms and rain. I know you can get a noise machine that plays the background noise, but I just found because I already had my cell phone and I could just pull up YouTube, having the rain and the storm and the thunder on in the background helped me sleep so well. And there were days where I woke up so refreshed because I actually got sleep. And so once I found that trick to always have my thunderstorms playing in the background, I never did anything else other than play my white noise. We are coming to the end of this video. Just don't forget to be gentle with yourself. It's okay to prioritize sleep. It's not gonna be overnight when you're gonna get used to night shifts. Some people say it took them 3 months, 6 months. I hear all the time that it does take about a year to get adjusted and used to working night shift. So be patient with yourself. Try your best to get through that year. Do whatever you can necessary. Keep Googling those tips and tricks if you need to. And I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to work night shift to give it a chance and see if it's for you. You're only gonna know if night shift is for you until you try it out. So I hope that you can take my tips, and I hope they're helpful to you. Leave any suggestions, comments, anything like that down in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I always just want to wish you luck on your journey.